Hello, this is Michael, atheist and alcoholic. I am attending 90 AA meetings in 90 days. Nothing discussed in these videos will ever undermine the anonymity of AA. So today was meeting 71, and secular meeting, another Stoic-based meeting, the same one that I've went to a couple times now. As much as I love the bro Stoicism channels, that's not what this is. So I will try to find different iterations of secular AA moving forward. But that was the meeting that was at a good time for me today. So that's what I did. And the Stoic reading of the day was Epictetus from Discourses 4.1.128. The unrestricted person who has in hand what they will in all events is free. But anyone who can be restricted, coerced, or pushed into something against what they will is a slave. So this is obviously resonant with addiction. I most certainly was a slave to alcohol. It was a coercive force in my life in and of itself. And I definitely didn't have freedom in the midst of addiction. So it speaks to that, certainly. I think it also speaks to the Stoic dichotomy of control and or the serenity prayer, that the more in order you get your internals, the less coercive externals can be, whether it be alcohol or anything else. So that was my initial thoughts, and a lot of the shares were very similar to that. Still helpful because people are sharing specifically how, whether it be Stoic principles or AA in general, has helped them to maintain their sobriety. I find it much more helpful than the traditional AA meetings, of which I attended approximately 60. In addition to that, I thought about the Stoic virtues and how they relate to addiction. So, quick review: the Stoic virtues are temperance, courage, justice, and wisdom. And for temperance, obviously, as an alcoholic, I can't moderate my alcohol use. However, what I've found throughout my recovery journey over the last 13 years is that I do have to be careful in moderating other behaviors, being temperate in other endeavors, lest they lead me back to the bottom of the bottle. I have to have the courage to face emotions that I, at least initially, still to a large degree, but especially in early sobriety, that I didn't have the fucking coping mechanisms to deal with. As I've mentioned several times, I got sober, for the first time in my early 30s, and I had the emotional maturity of like an adolescent at best. So dealing with anger, sadness, stress, just anything, I didn't have the skills to deal with those. And I had to learn. Wisdom, I think it resonates with sobriety in that recognizing that it's actually the easier path long term. For me, if I was feeling something I didn't want to feel, alcohol was a very effective solution. As I've mentioned in other videos, I drained all the joy from alcohol years before I quit, but it was still extremely effective at shutting down anything I didn't want to feel. And that, when I say I drained all the joy from the bottom of the bottle, that's not entirely true. I meant to actually mention that the other day. So if I'd been sober for 3 years, as I was at one point, and go right back to half gallon of booze, that initial inebriation is not pleasurable at all. However, if I pass out and wake up and start drinking again, as I was apt to do towards the end, that second round is fucking pure bliss for a while. So I did misspeak. There was joy in that. That was insanely pleasurable. And I would get maybe 2 or 3 rounds of that, passing out and drinking again, passing out and drinking again. That cycle would continue, but after that second or third round, things got really, really fucking dark. Justice is the one I paused on. How justice, the virtue of justice can relate to recovery. And then thinking about it, this is true for me. I think most of us addicts are worse than useless to ourselves, to our friends, to our family, to society at large when we're in the midst of our addiction. So that's all I have for today. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you here again tomorrow.